And like, Caleb Williams won't throw, right? He's not going to throw on Saturday. But there is a lot of pressure on Caleb Williams because you talk about a guy who is called a generational talent, right? Like, because with Andrew Luck, we knew he was going to the Colts. With Trevor Lawrence, we knew he was going to the Jaguars. The QB and the organization in both situations were really happy about the quarterback they got and the destination they were going to. With Caleb Williams, it's been a little different. Now, he hasn't publicly said he doesn't want to go to Chicago, but there's been reports from his dad, reports from the media that he does not want to go to Chicago. I think a lot of those unpleasant feelings towards Chicago that Williams has is blown out of proportion. I also think if you tell a young kid who has lots of money to go to Chicago and be the star of the city, it's not a bad gig and be remembered next to Jordan. The one thing I will say that nobody does understand and seems to really capture is how much pressure is on Caleb Williams. Not just because he's a generational talent, not just because he won the Heisman Trophy and will be the first pick in the draft, but where the Bears are as a franchise, they're ready to start winning. They have a good defense. They have a good enough offensive line. They have some weapons, and they have a second-year head coach. They are a quarterback away from being a really good team. You look at where the Bears were in 2016, if they didn't miss on Patrick Mahomes, they likely would have won the Super Bowl. They don't want to make that same mistake again. They don't want to play it safe at quarterback. They passed up on Mahomes, Watson, CJ Stroud. They're going for the quarterback this time. But the thing about going to the Bears right now and being the savior for Chicago is it comes with a lot of pressure when the organization wants to win right away. Remember, Andrew Luck with the Colts, he had a horrible first year. Nobody cared. With Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence had a great rookie season. He went to the playoffs. People had very low expectations, and he exceeded them immediately. The bar is very high for Caleb Williams and for the Chicago Bears because what they did with Justin Fields. You have a quarterback who makes tons of mistakes, can't win games, and you still won 7 games. That team largely fell apart towards the end of close games where they could have had 10 to 11 wins. They blew games versus the Broncos, the Packers, the Lions, and the Dolphins. There's a lot of pressure of being the answer at quarterback if you're Caleb Williams. What also sucks if you're Caleb Williams is, say Justin Fields is going to Atlanta. With Raheem Morris, first-year head coach, he likely has more leeway even though he's in his 4th year in the NFL because he's going to Atlanta, lower expectations, first-year head coach. But because it's with a second-year head coach of Matt Eberflus, because it's with the Bears team that already won 7 games last year and could have won a few more, because it's with a loaded defense, Caleb Williams has high expectations. And if the Bears don't get to 10 or 11 wins, no matter how good Caleb Williams plays, Matt Eberflus will be out. And in his 2nd year starting in the NFL, Caleb Williams will have a 2nd head coach and a 2nd offensive coordinator. That's not where you want to be if you're a quarterback, and especially a young quarterback. Think about this. If JJ goes to the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton isn't leaving next year. If Drake May goes to the Patriots, Gerard Mayo isn't leaving next year. He's a first-year head coach. Following a GOAT, it will take time. But with the Bears, it's different. They have higher expectations. They want to win now. Matt Eberflus will be out if the Bears don't make the playoffs or if they don't win a playoff game. If Caleb Williams doesn't get to 10 to 11 wins and lead his team to victories, no matter how many good stats he puts up, he'll have a 2nd head coach in the NFL in his 2nd year. That's not a place where you want to be. Some guys thrive under pressure, some don't. We'll see what Caleb Williams can do under immense pressure in Chicago. But he'll have a lot more pressure than Justin Fields, who's in his fourth year, who's going to go to a new team with a first-year head coach, probably in Atlanta. Let's just say that. So, although I understand that people are kind of getting on Caleb Williams for being kind of down on Chicago, I do understand the pressure that comes with being a Bears quarterback in this time period. Jay Cutler had tons of pressure, but that team was never good. Jim Harbaugh had tons of pressure, but that team was never good. You now have a second-year head coach, a good enough team, a weaker division, and you're the quarterback that's supposed to get the Bears over the hump. That's a lot of pressure for Caleb Williams.